Yes, people, and welcome to We Are Tottenham TV with your boy, Ashmatic from Spurs Kings TV. We're going to talk about the game Liverpool versus Spurs. We were away at Anfield with a abysmal record. Let's just start there. The record was horrendous. 6 games without a win. I think the worst in the Premier League, the worst in our recent history as well. And the manager, Igor Tudor, was under a lot of pressure, a hell of a lot of pressure. Lots of fans wanted him out, me included. I put my hands up. I'm not going to act like, I was brand new and thinking, give him a little bit of time. Maybe we see him after the Atletico game go. I'm not going to do this whole revised outlook. I myself wanted him. So, yeah, Slot, they were without problems as well. The last 5 games, I believe they won 3 games, but they also lost 2. So their form was a bit indifferent. They are with a couple of injuries, but nothing compared to Spurs. Spurs had a whole squad, 13 players out. So the expectation was that we were going to get a hammer. And most fans, from what I was seeing, watching, reading, listening to, speaking with others, just in general, they were expecting Spurs like a 5-2, 4-1, 3-0. I was him predicted 2-1s maybe at best. But a lot of Spurs fans had no hope. There were the odd, contrary here and there saying, Liverpool drew Galatasaray. That gave us a little bit of hope. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get a point from it. But anyway, let's talk about the game because I am kind of wandering off in a different direction. The game in itself, geez, what a game. Let's talk about the lineups first. The first lineup I'll talk about is Spurs. We did have Vicario in front of goal, in between the sticks, and that was off the back of a bad performance or a nervous performance from one of our goalkeepers. Um, Vicario was put back inside as number 1. Jed Spence started as the left-sided left back, and then on the right back we had Pedro Porro. In between the two of those guys, we had Dragushin as a left-sided centre back, and then we had Danso as the right-sided centre back. In the midfield, we had Papa Matasar. We had Gray as well alongside him. We had Matthias Tell on the left, and then this what I thought was interesting: Souza as a right winger. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Or a right midfielder, whatever you want to call it. Souza was not playing as a defender. He was actually playing as an attacker. Could talk about the formation in a bit. Let me just finish off the lineup. The lineup for the front two was going to be Solanke and Richarlison. And people were debating whether it's going to be a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 or were there going to be wing backs because Souza was included. I saw it as a 4-4-2, especially when we were out of possession. When we were trying to defend, it was clear that those guys were going to be compact in the middle, forcing Liverpool out wide. But from when I watched the game, from what I saw, it looked like we were going to whatever side the ball was. The 4-4-2 would shift to one side and we'd be compact, but we defend predominantly down one side just to prevent them from building up, attacks or trying to get numerous amount of bodies on one side to kind of disable us. But yes, that was Tottenham's lineup. On the bench as well, quickly, we had Xavi Simons on the bench. A lot of people asking for him to come back in, but he was left out. Callum. Also on the bench, we had Callum Oluseyi, and we also had James Rosewell, 2 academy prospects. Loads of fans have been asking to see more of the youth. And I think Igor has been a guy to have more academy guys start than our last 2 managers. So, well, check that out, man. I don't know. Don't fact check me. I'm just saying. But yeah, they made an appearance, as did Javi's, as did Colomwani in this game. So it was very interesting. But let me just talk about Liverpool's bench. We couldn't fill out a whole bench, by the way, which was crazy to me. But let's talk about Liverpool as well. Liverpool, they fielded out a team with Alisson in goal, Robertson left back, who we were linked with strongly. I'm not sure if those rumors will come back in the summer. So Bosley, interestingly, at right back. Joe Gomez as a centre back alongside captain Virgil van Dijk. In the midfield, they had McAllister, Gravenberch, Rio, I can't say his name, Ingawawa, Verts, Frimpong, and Gakpo. So that was their lineup. On their bench, they had Salah, interestingly, Curtis Jones, Ekatike, who didn't start, and they had Trey Noni. So that was their side. Also, Chiesa was on their bench as well, and he did feature at some point towards the end. But yeah, they had a 4-2-3-1. That's what Slot ended up going with. But yeah, generally, as I said before the game, they were expected to have a lot more of the ball, and they did. And the issues I felt going into the game was, are we going to learn from previous games? Are we going to stop playing out from the back? And no, we didn't. We carried on playing out from the back. And I felt that was some of our issues in that first half, where they were locking down on us man to man, and they were making it very difficult for us to progress the ball up the pitch. And the reason being is because Dragushin is not really a ball playing centre back. Danso does struggle at times to pass it forwards. And I think they use those two players in particular as presses to trigger, because the two centre backs like to split wide when Vicario has the ball. And then as soon as one of them gets the ball, they don't know where to turn, left or right, goes back to Vicario, and before you know it, they get a chance out of it. And it's modern day football. That's how teams want to press, and especially Liverpool, they're very aggressive. So in that first half, there wasn't really much for us to talk about in terms of what we did. We did manage to get a chance, I believe, from Richarlison, and the only times we did get a chance was from set pieces or us going direct. But in that first half, they had the better of the chances. They had more of the ball. They were asking more of the questions, and rightly so. And I noticed that Rio, the young kid, he was causing Pedro Porro a lot of problems. And in front of Pedro Porro, we did have Souza, who's another defender by trade. But again, going backwards, I felt both of them were struggling against him. He could go on the outside, he could go on the inside, he could combine when he wanted to, he could switch to play, and that's what was causing us a lot of issues, how to deal with players like that. But defensively, I would say, even though we were missing Mickey van der Ven, who has great amount of pace and recovery pace and helps us getting out of trouble a lot of the times, as a centre back, Romero, he tends to be also one of our main captains in terms of like commanding the defense, etc. Both of them weren't there. So they're both our main centre backs. And I think what Igor Tudor probably said to them, let's just take less risks in that area. Let's just keep it minimal. Let's be tight, especially when we need to drop back. Maybe let's not go as high. And so when you're given less risk and you're just making it very simple for those two centre backs to live, I think maybe that's the reason why there was maybe fewer mistakes. There were one or two mistakes from Dragonstream, but there were fewer mistakes, and Liverpool got less change out of us in that first half. Going back into the second half, I felt we kind of abandoned going out from short from the back. We went a little bit longer through Vicario, and that's what yielded more of the chances, e.g. the Richarlison chance. With the header, he had a shot as well that was saved. And then also there was a corner where it went just wide. So Richarlison had a few chances where the momentum started to change a little bit, even though they had all the possession and they had most of it in our half. We had one or two opportunities where we could get out. And instead of doing those short passes where we would get pinned back, Vicario just said, you know what, let me just hit those players in behind. And that was working for us. Generally, Liverpool did have a chance also with Gakpo. Gakpo got on the ball, he shot, it's a good save, and obviously went out wide, hit the post, and Vicario kind of made up for that chance, because I haven't spoke about it, which was the goal. 1-0 free kick specialist. Let's talk about it, man, because it needs to be spoken about. It was very poor goalkeeping for Vicario. It's not the first time. There is a stat swimming around about 60% of goals were because of Vicario. Not sure how true that is. Nonetheless, we do know he hasn't had a great season. Lots of people asking for his head, including myself. And today was further evidence of it. I think when he was setting up the wall, obviously he's gone to one side thinking that side's covered. But when the ball's come across, it's not even like it's gone to the far post. It's literally more in the middle where he can get to it. And in fact, he does. Gets a strong hand on it, but he doesn't shift his feet fast enough. He doesn't shift his feet quick enough. And it's almost like he's on his toes, tiptoes, a bit like Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory, like a little ballerina. He's on his tiptoes. And I think if he plants his foot down on the floor a bit more and just has that lateral movement, gets across a bit quicker, he should be saving that. There's no excuses. I'm trying to break it down technically because I'm not a goalkeeper, but for me, that's a minimum. If it's near the middle and it's not in the top corner or far corner, bottom corner, you've got to be saving those. And the fact that he got his hand on it just shows the form and confidence that he's at. And yeah, 1-0 in that first half, we went down, and yeah, you couldn't make it up, man. It's through those mistakes that it's been costing us all season. But yeah, back into that second half, you know, it got to the point where they had a lot of the ball. They wasn't creating a great deal of chances, but the more the game went on, you think, hang on a second, Spurs look like we're going to get something out of this because they're not putting us to the sword. They're not taking their chances. Can we get a point? Lo and behold, as I was saying earlier, in that second half, we did go more direct. We did make those changes. We brought on, as I said, Olasesi, who did very well, in my opinion, in the midfield. We also brought on, more importantly, the person to assist the goal in Mwani. Mwani picks up the ball from a direct kick towards the end of the game, 89th minute, falls to him. He dribbles at their defense, kind of bubbles into, he finds a pass into Richarlison. Richarlison gets his head up, puts the ball right in the back of the net, and then all you saw was this. I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. Richie's always the guy that always has something to say at Liverpool. I think he's got the second best record at Anfield other than Andy Cole. I think he's got the most goals there as an opponent. So yeah, Richarlison, he gets us a much needed point. And it feels like 3 points because no one expected it. No one saw it coming. And so I'm thinking, can we take that energy? Can we take that performance into Nottingham Forest? Because Nottingham Forest, let's face it, that's the big game that we need to win. That's our cup final. And I'm sure loads of fans are going to get down. Whether you're going to go to the game or not, I think fans are just going to come down and make it a crazy atmosphere, similar to like maybe a North London derby, or I'll go back to when Everton were on the verge of getting relegated and their, teammates come and turned up. But yeah, I thought it was great that we saw the two youngsters make the debut going back to the game. And Xavi also came on in that second half, and he tried to make his voice known. He tried to make his imprint on the game, and he did force a save from the goalkeeper. There was another one where he got on the ball and he passed it out wide, and it almost led to something. But again, he was coming on, trying to prove his point, telling the manager, "Why are you leaving me out? I'm the guy that should be starting here." Which is good because you want your players to come on, you want them to fight. I do think though Xavi needs to be starting at some point. But look, if Tudor's going to stay here, and I think this is the debate at the moment, if he's going to stay and he's going to carry on, whether you want him in or out, like let's part that to one side. He has to stay and be the captain that runs the ship. He has to pick the players that he thinks are going to win the game. He can't be swayed by public opinion, by the people upstairs. He's got to do it his way. If he thinks 4-4-2 is the way forward, he's just got to stick with it. Like he's got to forget about the noise from other players, and he's just got to be the general, in my opinion. If he's going to survive, if he's going to stay in, and we're going to get a point or get 3 points, that's what he needs to do. And let's not get it twisted. We need 3 points, not 1 point. Do you know what I mean? 1 point ain't going to do nothing. And I think that's the silver lining, because a lot of fans were like, oh my days, we got a point and it feels like a victory. But in actual fact, we need more than a point. We actually do. That's where we're at the moment. 3 points, that's the only thing it's going to do. Last thing I'm going to go through on the actual game itself are the running stats. I don't want to bore you too much, but Liverpool had 63%. We had like 37% of the ball, which was expected. We had 1.18 in terms of chances created. They had 1.7, but actual big chances itself, we had 2, they had 1. Total shots 17 to their 13. Goalkeeper saves, they had 6, we had 3. And that just kind of goes to show not having the ball, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Um, and also XG. People talk about XG. They had a great XG, but the keeper was working more for them. So what does that tell you? Then, in terms of corner kicks, we had 4, they had 3. Fouls, 8, we had 13. And again, passes, they had 553 passes. We had 320. Tackles, they had 12 and we had 20. So again, just reading those stats off, you could tell that we were really working hard. We were trying to be um, compact, as I said before, but at the same time, when we needed to dig deep, we did that. And an honorable mention to some of the midfielders as well in the middle of the park, Archie Gray being one of them. Um, yes, you didn't see like a general, um, you know, up and down Archie Gray, controlling the midfield or blah, blah, blah. But I look at him as an unsung hero because him positionally, him being there in the right place at the right time, that for me is discipline. And you can block off passing lanes, for example, if you are standing in the right position, even if you don't make those interceptions, the fact that they are there could make the opposition think twice and do an alternative move. So yeah, hats off to the midfield in this particular game, and the stats won't always pick those type of things up. So I thought I'd mention that as well. Um, but yeah, overall, listen, happy with the point. Really happy that what we got from there, and moving on to the next game, Forest. We all know, as I said before, it's a must win.